This video is about how to curb your motivation burst, right? Maybe the title of this video will put it more eloquently, but the motivation burst is what we've all experienced in our lives, where we get super inspired for 2 weeks and then we just crash, right? You want to lose weight, you start running every day, you start diet, you go on an extreme diet, and then you just bounce back, you rubber band back, and sometimes even to a place worse than you were in the beginning. And in the beginning of 2022, I felt that very thing in regards to business. I was hopeless, I was aimless, and I clicked on this Alex Hormozi video, and it was 40, 50 minutes long of him talking about how he built his company to $100 million. And that was the first time I had heard of him. And it just sparked this interest in business in me. And I felt that same feeling. I felt that passion, the burning passion. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fall for that. This time, I'm not going to fall for that. And the image in my mind, and this is going to be super useful for you, right? If you were in the position that I was back then, and you don't know this, and you're trying to get out of your situation, let me tell you this analogy that will help you a lot, because it helped me so much. It gave me the space. It gave me it put me in the place where I could grow, right? It's an amazing tool. So this is it. When you're in that burning passion, it's literally like you're in your steam engine, you're a train. That's you. Your mind and that motivation is the people throwing in the coal, right? The people just shoveling in the coal. When the train is like burning and like going super fast and like has that burning passion, burning motivation, it's like those guys are just like, oh man, like there's a lot of fire. Yeah, there's burning up a lot of coal, so let's like chuck in more. But eventually, the coal is gonna end before they reach the point of where they can resupply. So instead, at that moment, I decided to curb that motivation. So instead of just chucking all my coal into that burning fire, even though like how that's exciting, it's fun, right? But I didn't do that. What I did instead was set up a robust system for me to spread out that motivation. And what ended up happening is I stuck with that, with learning about business, and I stuck with just dedicating myself into one singular goal for months, and I had never done that in my entire life. In 21 years, I'd never ever done that until that point. And let me tell you what that system was. That system was, so I got Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Offers, the first business book I've ever read. And I told myself, you know what? I'm going to read at least 15 minutes, and then I could go more, or I could just stop at 15 minutes, whatever I want, whatever I feel like doing. It's guilt-free after 15 minutes. And then after that, I'll spend an hour doing whatever I wanted, except for the book, right? I would do everything else I wanted. And then after an hour, 60 minutes elapses, the alarm sounds, and then I go back, and then at least 15 minutes. And that's what I did. I finished the book. I went on to I read his, like more than half of his other book about gyms. It was a longer one. I feel like it was denser, but eventually I lost interest in the gym ones because it got into stuff that it just wasn't relevant to the stuff I was interested in. So, because it was focused on gyms and his systems for gyms. So I started doing other things in those 15 minutes because I had that momentum, and it was a robust system. Like it was, so after the hour passed, unless I was doing something time sensitive, or unless I was spending time with family, then I would go straight to the 15 minutes, right? And it was, I after I would finish one thing, I would go to another thing and fill those 15 minutes. And for the first time in a while on that point, I was waking up with purpose, because I was actually like, I was doing something sustainably, right? And after it ended up, eventually I did hit a wall. I hit a wall, and so I mean, I don't want to get into too many details. Essentially, I was just scared. I was too inexperienced. My character was not developed at all. I had a very easy upbringing in various regards, and so that period of time really helped me develop my mindset, develop my character. My goals, I just didn't have enough to really chase my goals to past a certain point, because I just didn't know enough. Like, I wanted to do a physical business, and I didn't even know you could do an online business, and I didn't, like, I heard of drop shipping, but I never even thought of like investing in a course, because I had the money to invest in a course, right? And it never crossed my mind, getting a mentor, any of that, right? And by the way, for those of you who are watching, like, get a mentor. Find someone like you. You would be surprised in how many people on Instagram you can look up. Like, follow big people in your niche, right? Go to the followers list. Just use the mouse middle click to click a bunch of his followers, and you'll see a couple. There are like plenty of them who actually have like, oh, DM me for this, or like or like, I hit my agency. I made my agency hit 40K a month. I'm a copywriter who makes 100K a month, whatever, or like 10K a month, and just like hit them up, because if they don't have an established mentorship, it's probably going to be even like cheaper to get them to help you out, and especially if you can add value to their lives. Anyway, moving back from that rant. Back to the system and how I used it later on for creating motivation. So eventually I hit a rut, and I just fell apart, because I was scared. I didn't know how to move forward. I was far too inexperienced, and I didn't have anyone in my life that could help me out, and I ended up crumbling. And I was aimless for a little bit until I found direction. I was like, okay, I'm going to make money online. I'm going to have an adventure, some sort of adventure, right? Make money online, have an adventure. So I'm like, okay, I don't have that burning passion, but what am I willing to do, right? And before it fell apart, before the former stretch of goal chasing that was like many months, fell apart, I was increasing it to like up to, I think it was 45 minutes, at least 45 minutes every hour of just studying business and learning about it. And in between, I was just like listening to audiobook after audiobook after audiobook of just David Goggins and Jocko Willink and Carol Dweck and who are the other authors? Simon Sinek, I think his name is. But like all of the all the big books that just like revamp your mindset and teach you about business and life, and gosh, it was just an amazing stretch of time that I just grew so much. But anyway, I trailed off a little bit. I was doing at least 45 minutes, so that was like what I had in my head. But I was like, okay, what am I willing to do? 20 minutes? I just felt my chest sort of like tighten up. I was like, okay, how about 15 minutes? Let's do 15 minutes every hour. Is that okay? And then I felt okay with it. So I was like, okay, let's do 15 minutes every hour. And then I started. And my goal was to either do any sort of research looking into how to earn money online or having an adventure, right? That was it. That's what I started with. And it developed from there, right? It developed from there, and eventually I got into the agency space. Eventually I closed my first client, and I was super stoked about that. I met great people, and I had actually a mentor, and I just learned so much, and I'm still learning, I'm still developing. I've still got a lot of work and growth to get into, but I'm talking to the person that I was before, right? The person that kept going in and out of these motivation bursts and hoping that this time I found the solution. This time is different. It's never different. When it comes to these motivation bursts, it's never different. You have to curb it. You have to use the motivation burst to create a sustainable system. And in that system, you'll be able to thrive. Do something you can do in the long run. Do something super low bar. And just keep the bar super low. But allow yourself space. Allow in that system space for you to go above and beyond if you so desire. And eventually I did increase it, like I said, to 45 minutes. Because I was just doing 45 minutes. I was like, I never go under 30 minutes. So I'm just going to increase to 30, and then eventually it was 45. And I was spending hours and hours a day just learning and trying to figure stuff out. But anyway, that's it for this video. I hope it helped. I hope the analogy of the steam train helped, because it was just something that stuck into my mind. And at the time I thought about it over and over and over again. And gosh, it helped me break that cycle and helped me just begin my journey and get out of that rut. So hopefully that helps like one person. If it helps one person where I was at to leave that and to start their journey, I'd be stoked. So that being said, if you're in that rut, make sure to find out a system that works. Doesn't have to be mine. Just see if you're okay with that. Maybe do 15 minutes every hour. Maybe do 10 minutes every hour. Maybe do 5 minutes every hour. 5 minutes every 2 hours. I don't know. It's whatever you're willing to do, man. That's what matters. It doesn't matter like what you should do. Stick to what you're willing to do and then work from there. But that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next one.